Skyby Tired in YouTube chat says, I left my PC alone for 3 hours, and when the fight wasn't over, I quit without saving. Truly, the Spear Dwarf Necromancer was so powerful that they reached through the code and killed your PC. Yeah, and that's why you don't put your Necromancer into your military. What's up, Animara Masa? All right. Who wants to play some Dwarfs, chats? Does everybody know what we're doing today? Or do I need to give you guys the TLDR version? Just making sure everything's set up and good to go on my end. YouTube folks, don't forget to leave a like on the stream. There's 29 of you and 11 likes. I'm sure we could get at least 15 more likes in there. Twitch chat, thank you very much for tuning in today. I just want to say a real quick thank you to everybody who has hats next to your name. You guys are the reason this channel stays funded and continues as it does without interruption. I will not be streaming tomorrow, and today's probably going to be a little bit short. Mostly because I'm fucking tired, guys. It's been a long month for me. I've streamed more in this month than I have any other month this year because I try to do about 20 hours of video editing a week, and on average, I've streamed almost 40 hours a week this month, which is a lot more than I normally do. So, I'm tired. It's been a long month, and I have a lot of editing I need to get caught up on. So, rest? Well, voice rest, mental rest, sure, but editing. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. So today, I will be chilling and streaming, and we will be continuing on the recreation or sequel or follow-up or continuation, if you will, of the worst map I've ever found in Dwarf Fortress. So, this fortress, Strangetomb. Strangetomb is... How do I put this? I'll get rest next week. I do have to go to a wedding and like spend time with family, and so I will get an actual break from work next week, but I need to get a little bit ahead so I can go do that next week. As a Jew. So a Strangetomb. Yes, the Stranger's Tomb. But yeah, this fortress is right next door. Oh, there's a ghost. I think I should deal with that. This fortress is right next door to Godly Tombs, which is a fortress which didn't last very long, which I built and finished and made a YouTube video out of. It was the first big video I ever made. It's also the most viewed video I've ever made. And it's on a biome that is split between two different kinds of locations, a good and evil biome stacked on top of each other. One of them makes evil rain, which turns everything it touches into an evil husk zombie monster thing that wants to kill everybody, including probably my family. This right here is a demon that I released from the underworld because Lamau, which fought with a child and a, reindeer, and I guess a baby's just hanging out, not fighting, but is hanging out. This is a demon I released named Lanix. It's a mole monster, and it lives here now on the surface. We've also learned that they're immune to the to turning into what are they called? The zombies, I guess. Yeah. So that's a good time. For named dwarves in the fort, we've got Crabapple, we've got Insulinus, Snail, and Hylam, as well as Tapioca and Founder, the expedition leader. We also have Entropy and Stormwolf and the Runner, who was a dwarf that came very close to dying, which is why they're the Runner. They were also the first creator of an artifact in the fort. They made a bed out of gems. We have Argamenon. We have Lobster, who was as pissed off as a dwarf could be and is now less, which is nice. And that's it, as well as Romanoid. There is no metal in this map, so we don't really have any ways of defending ourselves if bad things happen. And we haven't successfully traded yet, but we have managed to get several migrants. That monster also killed this Titan, and also killed the Struggler, which was a yak, which was fighting with that creature, that Titan. And since, you know, killing all those things, it then killed Chucky, the child, who killed most of his family as a zombie once they were zombies. So, you know, it's fine. It was probably in self-defense. In the fortress, there's a ghost right here. I'm going to deal with this. Obok, do you have a slab already made? If you don't, I'm going to make one. Now, because this fortress is so hostile to the existence of everything, in order to get to this fortress, you more or less... You more or less have to basically just hope that you can get to this hole right here, this hole right here, or this hole. And any of these will get you into the fort. We also have one down here, which will also get you into the fort. I should probably make another one at the other end. But once inside the fortress, you're pretty safe. Pretty safe. What system do I have for naming these dwarves? Either something that's memorable that I think is funny, or if somebody gets the redemption, which is apparently on cooldown right now, which means somebody redeemed it. Killed with Style just redeemed it. So that's what you have to do, is you have to get the redemption that Killed with Style did. I don't have a military, so no. I can't do that, mate. I do have a dwarf who's in the military, but they're named, and I don't have a military, so I can't give you a fighter dwarf because I don't have a military. So what else would you like? A strong dwarf. Okay, so a dwarf. Would you like a dwarf with a beard or a dwarf without a beard? Unfortunately, I don't actually have that many options. The list is very short, and as I said, I don't have a military, so... Dwarf with a beard. I will give you a dwarf that isn't pissed off because mental strength is a lot. Like this one, who's patient. That'll help, probably. That'll do her. Killed with Style. Killed with Style. Got into an argument recently, but was interested after watching a performance. Is rarely jealous and generally acts impartially. Is rarely moved to mercy and is quite comfortable with others that have a different appearance or culture. He likes to brawl, and he has a calm demeanor, and he tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects. He is quick to anger, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day, and likes working outdoors and only grumbles mildly at bad weather. Well, if it wasn't possible, I wouldn't have 27 dwarves. Would they immediately get covered in corrupted smoke? That's the thing. It's not always raining. And also, rain doesn't always cover the entire map. So, it's not always raining, and the rain doesn't always cover the entire map. So as long as it's not raining when they arrive, and they have, like, an opportunity to move, they can be okay. Also, it's not always raining that evil goo. Sometimes it's just snowing. Which I don't think, like, negates the evil goo, but, like, yes, they are able to make it into the fortress. Otherwise, we would have 6 dwarves instead of 27. He has a calm demeanor, and he tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects. He's quick to anger, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day, and he likes and he only grumbles mildly at crappy weather and likes working outdoors. Not here, though. Grumbles mildly, as in brains. Personally finds that moderation and self-control are very important. Finds introspection to be a waste of time and doesn't really see the point in working hard. He doesn't really value merrymaking and doesn't particularly care about craftsmanship and dreams of creating a great work of art. He likes horn silver and billin, as well as onyx and spore tree wood, as well as giant gray squirrel leather, coral, and naff fabric, as well as amulets and cavies for their 3 toes. Skunk men for their distinctive striping, and the sight of the saffron of trotting. And if possible, he prefers to consume bayberry wine, rye flour, and absolutely hates slugs. So, because I don't have a military, and the surface is evil and hates me, I have this very convenient door right here. This very convenient door... Okay, so the next thing I gotta go over. This map is really shallow. Okay, so this is like the surface. This is where we dug into initially. And this is where I'm memorializing all the dwarves that have died. But this is where we are living primarily, just in this tiny little cavern. And this is the tiny little fort that I'm building out and the ghost that I need to get rid of. 12? Oh my god, this is the dad of that family who got murdered by Chucky. This family all arrived at the same time and they all died within like 10 seconds of entering the map. Mostly in the same spot. And Chucky turned and like killed almost all of them. That's... okay. Welcome back, Chuck McDad. Why don't we call you, Chucky Sr. War bolted. Yeah. No, we named him Chucky. Or I named him Chucky. It was grim times, yeah? I mean, he's also dead now. I don't love Aphex Twin. I like Aphex Twin. I don't know what that is, and I don't know what that is. The two things that you asked about, and then put 3 question marks into the chat. With a bunch of freaky dwarves? Well, okay. It's been 2 years. We started in the year 411, and it's the year 413. So it hasn't been 6 dwarves turning into 27. Also, that might be mathematically impossible, actually. Have I heard of... I mean, I've heard of Tame Impala, not 6 Impala. Your stupid browser muted the stream. Oh, that's a stupid browser. What, the ghost? No, the ghost makes everybody in the vicinity's mood drop dramatically, and, actually... can't work, and has now vanished, actually. Hold on. Yeah, has now vanished, so I can't even tell you what he is. But, there's a pretty good chance that that ghost actually will just murder the first thing that it sees. Ghosts have the ability to scare things to death, so you kind of don't want to fuck with them. If you want to see ghosts, like, kill a fortress, just simply watch my video on ghosts. It's got the hunted in the title, because they're hunted by them. Zachris, thanks for, like, doubling my revenue today. Appreciate you. With that 5-pack of gift subs. Mugs up to that. The engravers is who I'm going to call, because they're going to engrave it on a slab. Bury the body or make a slab. I'm making gravestones, because the bodies are up here, and covered in pools of abominable smoke. So if I were to, like, go up here to, like, go get this dwarf's, or this dwarf's family's bodies, then, well, we would just become zombies. It's payday? Well, happy payday. So down in here is actually very close to the fortress. This is only about 10 levels below the fort. Right here is where we started building. Down here is our bedrooms, and we got more bedrooms. So I've got these 2 little pattern things that I'm working on. I should probably just, like, smooth half of these. We'll do the stairs next. But, as I scroll down here, we go down into this little cavern layer. You can see there's this little walkway over to this side where I've been peeking through to see where stuff is. And then down here, we go down to here where there's this drawbridge. And we go through this lovely little dolomite hallway around the corner and down into here. And then 1 layer down is where we're starting to dig too deep. Because I need adamantine, because there's no metal on this map. So I need adamantine. Obviously. And the way we're going to do this is by digging down a layer, then building a drop platform, and then dropping it straight down and in. Or alternatively, digging up and then just dig... Actually, I might... Well, actually, no, there's water up here, so that would be kind of a pain in the ass. Ooh, although... maybe not worth it. But essentially, I'm just caving shit down into here with the idea of breaking into hell and releasing it onto the surface. That's what I want to do in this fort. I want to break into hell and release hell into the surface and let it do what it does. Because I think that would be fun. And that is my goal. That is my goal for this fort. And most of these dwarves are off to go do memorializing, amongst other things. Let's just jump back up here and see if I can place more slabs. Chucky's not engraved yet. Ooh. Deep within this place, we've uncovered what must be a treasure of the gods. That's not good. Where did I find that? Ooh. I'm not sure how... It must have, like, gotten stuck inside of... Because I didn't channel down into that. How did I... Okay, it must have just moved. Because I did... Oh, I see. We did dig through this, but, like... Anyway, what is it? It's an intricate black metal right gauntlet, a large intricate black metal right gauntlet, and we got a large intricate black metal left gauntlet. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're trying to do. We're trying to, like, recreate the wall from, you know, Game of Thrones. That's sort of what we're trying to do. And I'm gonna just pop up top one layer and dig through this so that they can, you know, channel this over. Don't step... Actually, that seems sketchy. Because the dwarf's going to step in it after they dig through it. Let's get you to come from that other angle so that you then take a left. There you go. Chucky Sr. has been laid to rest. The ghosts are now gone. We don't need to call the Ghostbusters no more. So now that I've dug through that, I'm just going to dig through all this. And then we're going to let this lava flow out this way. We'll let the water flow in. That's all that you can think about whenever, I'm trying to, like, decipher your name. Is your name, like, a play on Fleur de Lis? Anyway, but, like, with a lathe? Anyway, what blows my mind about that fortress is I did that video and then... like, had a beer with the guy who made that fort afterwards. That is kind of great. I love that. The play on Fleur de Lis, but with a lathe. And that's pretty funny, actually. I've had... I don't know what you mean by quester. I've never heard that term used in Dwarf Fortress before, Bismuth, in YouTube chat. But night creatures showing up as part of factions is not uncommon, or usually necromancer creatures. But I've seen weird things that shouldn't join factions showing up as part of factions that people often mistake as demons, and they're usually necromancer creatures. Oh, why is that getting deconstructed? I don't want that. I think actually what I should do is build a bridge across here. Because I'm looking at this and going, I'm going to get these dwarves stuck if I do this. So yeah, yesterday was crazy in this fort. We had all kinds of nonsense happen. All kinds of nonsense. So hopefully we can have similar levels of nonsense. Because nonsense is fun. I think everybody likes nonsense. Good morning, Cricket. How are you? He's actually working on another one. Similar levels of scale. Last time I spoke with him. You see, I will reiterate, Bismuth. So Bismuth in YouTube chat says, Questers are creatures that act on behalf of foreign entities and steal artifacts or slay a beast. Okay, allow me to reiterate. I've only ever seen those referred to as villains or monster hunters or poets. I've never seen somebody use the word quester to refer to something in Dwarf Fortress. You can define the word all you want. It's still like, I'm tired, and seeing a word I've never seen before referring to a thing in Dwarf Fortress when I'm tired just makes me go, huh? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. So, like, you could use a word that is a word that makes sense in the context, but if I don't know it, my response is still going to be, huh? Because I'm tired. Pinker, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Appreciate you. Thanks for helping keep the channel funded. Which is why they're called villains. Not questers. But anyways. I digress. The people who show up are either lieutenants or they are, like, villainous actors. They came in the villains patch. I've never seen them referred to as questers, and I will maintain this. So I can dig through this, and I can dig through this. And both of these... Are you going to go cut that? No, you're just storing it in a bin. We'll then drain most of this lava out. And also seal off some of this obsidian. Or seal off some of the water into obsidian, which will be helpful as well. Me looking kind of fresh, mate. I feel like shit. I slept well the last 2 nights. Or, not last 2 nights. 2 nights ago I slept well. The night before last night I slept well. And last night I got home at like 11, so I didn't get home that late. But like, I slept like garbage yesterday. Like, it was, last night was back to, not sleeping, really. Lol, sleep, what's that? Mode. So that doesn't feel good. So if I'm looking fresh, then yay, at least something about me is working today. At least something's working. All right, well, we'll let this drain. And then we'll drain that. And then we'll drain that. I'm not accepting it. I'm just saying that I'm glad I look okay, because I feel like... Rip sleep mode is never fun. Yeah, it's summer for me, though. Well, don't let my streaming schedule screw up your sleep schedule, kitty phone. Make a sustainable clothing industry is a good beginner goal for Dwarfort. Make it to year 5. Get to X number of dwarves. Have a good enough variety of food and drink that dwarves don't get tired after consuming the same old booze. That kind of thing. It's a dwarf that really wants to practice a martial art. You know what I could do? I could do a pickaxe squad. That's something that we could do. So all of the dwarves with pickaxes are going to join this squad. Including Killed with Style. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a... Actually, I'll just go here. And then instead of saying individual choice melee, I will say... I like how picks are labeled as foreign. What? And I will call this Pick Squad. And confirm and save uniform. And then assign uniform. And Pick Squad. And then when I set them to ready, they should keep their picks equipped. Or in your case, go equip a pick. Also, Tapioca is in this squad now, which is... Let's put Lobster in instead, because Lobsters wanted to train for a bit. I'll give you a pickaxe. They emulate the mighty final. This is true, yeah. But yeah, I would say like for if you're a new player or like if you don't understand all the systems, what my advice to like when it comes to goal setting is just pick something that you haven't done enough that you can say out loud, unironically, I understand how this system works. Pick a system that you can't say that, and then try and build a fort around learning that system. And then once you feel that you've learned that system, move on to the next one, and then rinse, repeat. That's my advice on how to actually learn Dwarf Fortress, especially as a newer player. Is just pick a system. Okay, cool, done. Learn to that system. Now move on to the next one. Can Pix be decent weapons? No, but I don't really have other weapons. They're not great, but if you have a squad and you tell them to use picks, if you have a squad in the military and they're not using... Okay, so if you have a squad and they're in the military, and if you have a squad set to be a military squad, and you have dwarves that are set as miners in that squad, they won't actually train successfully because they will try to... how do I put this? They will try to... like drop their uniform stuff and then pick up pickaxes, and that will cause problems. But if you have a squad and they are set to be in the military, but they're also assigned to miners and their weapon is set as pickaxes, then they will use their pickaxes while also set to be a military squad without conflicts. That was a very hard sentence for my dumb brain to say for some reason. Do you find them worthwhile? They can be if you use them, like, correctly. But you need to be on a pretty big map. The thing about minecarts is, minecarts enable a lot of really fun shenanigans that you can't do without minecarts. But do you need minecarts? No, not really. But at the same point, farming is a completely irrelevant mechanic in Dwarf Fortress, and there is almost no situation in Dwarf Fortress where you actually need to farm. So I guess it highly depends on your priorities and what you're trying to do. Because just gathering stuff from the surface is just as efficient, if not more efficient in a lot of cases. So, like, is there purpose to minecarts? Yes, there's less hauling jobs. Is it faster? No, not really. Is it worthwhile? Yeah, because they're fun to set up. It depends on what your definition of worthwhile is, I guess. Yeah, I mean, like, if you use 2 wheelbarrows per stockpile, it's less efficient than just getting your dwarves to haul, in most cases. However, it's less jobs overall, so dwarves have more free time to do other tasks. I've always thought that steam power would... YouTube chat's talking about other forms of electricity or power in Dwarf 4. I think, like, before dwarves need alternative means of generating power, they need alternative uses for the power. Like, until there's, like, more things that they can use the power for, I don't see there being much reason to, you know, have more means of generating power. Like, we have 2 means of generating power and really, like, 2 uses for power. Basically, it's like axles... or rollers, really, and there's a few things that are powered by axles, but there needs to be more reasons to have power. Like, if drawbridges use power or something, or levers use power or something, then I could see there being a reason to have more ways of generating power. That's so interesting. You never knew that you could assign a pick to a uniform. You can assign anything to a uniform, almost. Any equipable to a uniform. But that's very much a within reason. If you assign too many things to a uniform, you can, like, make your uniforms not work anymore. Yeah, that too. DS. It's super easy to generate power as well, especially if you have an aquifer. Grumble. 2 seconds.
Let's take a lovely fruit, the tomato. Remove everything that's good from it, the seeds, the vitamins, the nutrients, everything that's good about it, and just jam it full of shit garbage shit sugar and put it in a shit bottle that sounds like shit when you put it on your shit. It's shit! Stop eating ketchup!
I wouldn't mind lights as a decoration. I don't want lights to be necessary in Dwarf Fort for a billion reasons. Besides, dwarves can see underground in the dark, and the mushrooms have to be bioluminescent already. I saw someone lose their mind trying to mod in electric plating so that making titanium seem realistic when folks in the past just had a reaction that just made titanium. I mean, I don't even know what you're trying to explain. Do I have any fun weekend plans? Scream, because I'm really far behind on editing. Edit so that my YouTube channel doesn't fall off and die any further like it has in the past 2 months. And not be exhausted by Monday. That's my fun plans for the weekend. Any beardless dwarf, maybe. Maybe, yeah. I was gonna make an altar. That's what I was gonna make. Why do I always spell altar with an E? Let's say rock. The happiest unnamed dwarf in the fort is a beardless dwarf. Lucifer Love's story is a flatterer who's strong, zany, and values independence with high willpower. She is a bold flatterer, extremely friendly, and just a little insufferable. Finds humor in most situations and very easily falls into love and develops positive feelings. Is slow to anger and tends to share her own experiences and thoughts with others, and is often cheerful. What a nice dwarf. Doesn't often feel envious of others and doesn't mind a little tumult and discord in day-to-day living. Does not easily hate or develop negative feelings. It's like a cartoon character. And tends to assume that the worst of two outcomes will be the one that comes to pass. So is also a pessimist. Wow. When she's thinking, her body becomes very still and needs alcohol to get through the working day. Huh. She dreams of making a great discovery. I was going to make a library next, so I guess that checks out. And views the pursuit of knowledge to be deeply important. Values independence and values tranquility and a peaceful day. Okay, so just so that I don't forget, hold on. I'm just going to make a library, set it to only citizens, and then set you as my scholar, and then delete it so that you're a scholar now. So that when I remake it, you'll just have that task. Does it have a lot of impact on gameplay? It will change who you get along with, how quickly do you develop skills, what tasks you'll prioritize, how frequently you have certain needs, and how well you get along with people. I'm gonna just state this. You do not want a day-night cycle implemented in Fortress mode. The average day-night cycle for Fortress mode is about 12 seconds for day and night. So 12 seconds for the day and 12 seconds for the night running the game. So if you ever play Songs of Six and you turn the brightness settings up to maximum and then let the game run at 8x speed, Dwarf Fortress would be flashing faster than that normally. And that game already is like a bit nausea-inducing when you run it at full speed with the day-night cycle enabled. So you don't actually want that, YouTube chat. Also, Dwarf Fortress does have a Fog of War. It's just permanently illuminated and negated once the areas are discovered. If you want Fog of War in a day-night cycle, play Night Shift, or play Adventure mode, because that's where all that stuff is enabled. And it's disabled in Fortress mode with good reason. I think my hunting dog is killing a Gorlak. But anyway. All you heard was free strobe light? Yeah, you could do that yourself by just having a strobe light behind your monitor. But also, Dwarf Fortress does have Fog of War as well, because there's lots of entities in Dwarf Fortress that stealth. And entities that stealth are not seen until discovered. Okay, hold on a second. I'm confused by this. I'll just manually do this. I doubled up these, maybe? There we go. Confirm. Outside of Fog of War shrinking? What night cycle stuff are you referring to? I mean, your dwarf gets tired, the sun goes down in the traveling, and then the line of sight is restricted when it gets dark. Are you referring to, like, what's the word? Are you referring to, like, boogeymen and such? When you say that it would require day-night cycle stuff to pop back into the game, what are you referring to? Oh, I mean, that's just aesthetic. That's no different than, like... I mean, the color shifts in... with the graphics on, like, the color palette changes. So I don't really know... I mean, color shifts in ASCII, sure, but, like... Anyway, I don't even clock that as relevant, even. There was going to be fire and lightning, but I don't know if that's still happening or what. I mean, there is fire in Dwarf Fort. What? Excuse me? Before you buy Songs of Six, Kitty Phone and YouTube chat, try the demo. It's the full game. It's just about a year development behind. He just puts old builds onto the demo branch. Then you'll know if you like it first. Yeah, we'll just let these dwarves train for a wee bit. Got a lot of dwarves here that want martial training, so... I also have dwarves that want to acquire things. How am I doing for cloth? It's kind of a lot of pigtail cloth. Kind of a lot of cave spider silk cloth. I have a question. Ambushes are annoying, right? So stuff just appearing that you can't see in fortress mode is already annoying. And this is a hypothetical question. Wouldn't restricting player line of sight by making it dark and requiring lighting, wouldn't that just make that more prolific and common and a bigger problem? So all that adding lighting to Dwarf Fortress would do is require the player to methodically cover the entire map with torches. Do people actually want that? Because, like, I'd be super down to have, like, sconces or something as, like, an alternative to, like, statues. But I don't actually want the game's line of sight to get hidden, because dwarves have a hidden line of sight anyway. Dwarves have a line of sight of 30, and dwarves with higher observation skills have a line of sight of 60, I think. Or maybe it's just 60. Anyway, and then things that don't see very well in the dark don't have a very long line of sight underground in dwarven fortresses. Wouldn't it be wiser to just, like, maybe give dwarves, like, a line of sight bonus? If they're in light, quote unquote, but, like, I would not want, like, a RTS style fog of war in Dwarf Fortress ever. I think that would be hell to actually manage. Because, like, whenever this discussion comes up of, like, what if they added, like, fog of war, that just sounds awful to me. Maybe reduce cave adaptation? I mean, maybe. Cave adaptation is something that gets balanced once every other rebalanced once every other year, though. Like, cave adaptation at one point... Cave adaptation has, like, gone from being, like, a non-concern to being so problematic you couldn't go above ground at all. Back to being, like, unexisting in itself again. Back to, like, somewhere in the middle ground. So, I don't know. That is something that a lucid dreamer would say. I'm just letting the dwarves train and rest. So I'm just going to let them carry out tasks here. How's Lobster doing? Lobster seems to like the learning about dodging stuff. I recall somebody talking about that making their game crash a lot, Rum Rusher. Does anybody else remember the weird 3D visualizer that Dwarf Fortress had for a minute in, like, version 31? It was, like, the capital V key. And it made a really bad 3D visualization of the map appear in the middle of the screen. And then Tarn deleted it because it looked bad and had no use. I sometimes wonder about that. Like, just... I also had a conversation with Putnam once where she was like, you know, we could render the engine in first person. And I was like, what? Excuse me? She's like, the engine does have that capability. We just don't do it because there's no reason to. Was it like Stone Sense? Imagine Stone Sense if it had no assets. I don't actually have that, like, a version that old installed on this computer right now, but... Blue Fox says in YouTube chat, I have Dwarf Fortress, but I'm always so overwhelmed when I start. Anyone got any recommendations on low-scale things to focus on before you lose your fort? Farming and bedrooms. And when baddies show up, lock the door. Or turn off enemies until you get through the basics. That's my advice. Dig a hole, put beds. Yes, that. What Deep Sea Fishin' said. Knowing about locking doors, what, clicking on a door and hitting the lock button? I guess I could see that. Make sure you don't cook your plump helmets. Well, okay. If you're on the surface and you have access to food, fucking cook your plump helmets. If you're only underground, yeah, don't cook your plump helmets. Anyway, Id, the recruit, has been taken by a Feymud. This is interesting. I didn't think that soldiers who were training could get a strange mood. I thought they specifically couldn't. Anyway, they claimed a mason, a stoneworker's shop. They grabbed obsidian, and are working furiously. Well, that's kind of exciting. Not on duty? No, they are on duty. They are very much on duty. I'm also just going to zip down here real quick. That's 7 by 7. So I'm going to channel through here eventually. Channel through here eventually. Channel through here. Probably just dig through this top bit. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over to this side. I'm going to dig down to here. Go across and across. But all my miners are currently working, so... Or training, so can't really do much with them. Your first 2 forts zombies walked in, then you watched one of my videos and saw me lock a door. I mean, sometimes they'll break it down, but usually they don't, and it usually gives you enough time to, like, you know, fix the zombie problem a little bit. I'm sorry if I made you feel dumb. This dwarf over here is reciting poetry. Got a dwarf meditating on death. Word, my dude. Got Tapioc down here digging a channel. It's my favorite aesthetic to do in Dwarf Fortress. Not squares. That's basically it. It's basically just not squares, actually. That is my Dwarf Fortress aesthetic is more or less just not squares. As long as it's not squares, I'm good. This could be full of monsters, so maybe I'm actually not going to do that. So this should be safe. We'll do this. Over to there. We'll go over to here. And over to there. And then down here, I'm going to start filling this sucker in, because Forgotten Beasts can get in here right now, which is not good. You don't really want that. And then I'm going to go up top here. Sealing this, sealing this. There's no access right now, but we're working on it. Also, if it's your first time, either do the tutorial or just start in a peaceful biome. Don't fuck with evil biomes. Yeah, don't listen to people who are like, settle in the untamed wilds. You'll find fun. No, you won't. You just won't learn the game. It's actually what'll happen. Maybe this dwarf's calling really was just join the military. Id Tekud Tisses, the recruit, has created Thigh-Cut-Can. Otin Dural, a siltstone statue of Maffle riddled mirrors, and offers it to the strangled weasel. This is a siltstone statue of Maffle riddled mirrors. All craft worship is of the highest quality. The item is a masterfully designed image of Maffle riddled mirrors, the dwarf, and Rigoth Rulrag, the dwarf in siltstone. Id is striking down Maffle. The artwork relates to the killing of the dwarf Maffle riddled mirrors by the dwarf Rigoth Rulrag in Strangetomb in the mid-spring of 412. It is encrusted with cushion obsidian cabochons, and this object menaces with spikes of siltstone and obsidian. I was definitely two zombies killing each other. The Dwarf Fortress tutorial tries to pick the most logical spot for a new player that's available. There isn't always one available. Also, this is still Dwarf Fortress. In the first 20 hours of play? You mean in the first 90 seconds of play? But, I mean, yeah, Fortress wipes can be frustrating. Like, they're frustrating for me sometimes. Like... Oh, that's a cool statue. Big fan. That needs to just live in the tavern. Ooh. Fancy. Meanwhile, LDM in the YouTube chat, if I ever get the free time, I will create Minecraft mod with DF biomes and items and everything, and this will allow create a utility to allow you to export UDF to Minecraft. That used to exist. Java Minecraft used to have mod's the wrong term. There used to be a script for DF hack that let you export Dwarven Fortress maps into a Minecraft world, and it looked weird because it was just like, you know, the infinitely generating Minecraft forest thing, and then just like a weird trench with a square map in the middle of it that was a Dwarf Fortress map. I think that I think people are trained to think that getting your population wiped in a video game is a failure, when in Dwarf Fortress, that's the game's progression. So it's a bit of like, it's, I think, one of the first things you need to unlearn to, like, learn to enjoy Dwarf Fortress to its fullest, is you have to unlearn the habit of losing everything is a failure. I mean, it doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked since 40D, as far as I know. Or version 40. That old Minecraft mod, for reference. or script, but it did at one point exist. I do recall it because I've seen it. I've never used it, but I've seen it. Yeah, exactly. Surviving, well, surviving isn't always easy. Surviving can be easy, but dying with style is the goal. And that's the challenge. Speaking of the challenge, the mole monster's still fighting. Still fighting. Let's just dig down into here. Wall this off. Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes you want to build a really big, successful fortress so that you can destroy it, so that you can then let something else take over it, so that you can then capture it with a different faction, so that you can then take over a fortress and run a fortress with a population of 95% goblins and 7 dwarves. It's like, losing can absolutely be part of an intended outcome. Killing a fortress is part of that, usually. I mean, I always love to reference this negative review on Steam, Mooncat, but there's a negative review on Steam, which is Dwarf Fortress isn't a colony builder, it's fantasy Mad Libs. And, like, and Fantasy World Approximation Simulator. And honestly, they're not wrong. The best negative reviews for a video game are the ones that I can agree with. Like, if you leave a negative review for a game that I like, and I'm like, yeah, you know, you got it. That's right. I mean, another thing, like, one of the most... I'm just trying to read 2 chats here, so if I seem like I'm phasing in and out, it's because I'm trying to keep up with multiple conversations. I had one of the most memorable ends to a fort I had in recent-ish memory was a fortress that ended because It was a fortress that ended because I left a, like, 1x1 hole in a wall. And a forgotten beast that was a fire-breathing moth flew into my fortress and just murked everything. So we literally got attacked by Mothra. And I had a couple of dwarves that were locked in rooms by themselves, and then a giant lizard twisted into humanoid form attacked. So I got attacked by Mothra and then Godzilla back to back. And, you know, at some point you just kind of got to throw your hands up and be like, okay, I concede, you win, game. I get it. I'll stop. I'm just gonna let you have this one, and I'm gonna try again. Because I clearly fucked up. Clearly. I mean, I will also, like, people who've watched my stream for a while will know that I often talk about not enjoying playing generation forts where you try and just run a fortress over multiple generations of dwarves. And part of the reason for that is one of the last time I tried doing something like that, which was with Long Death, I had this one dwarf named Bastet. Now, Bastet was my militia commander, and she was the one lady dwarf in the military. And she had a husband and had a couple kids, but if a dwarf has a lover, they won't get married in fort mode unless they get married to that lover. Like, they can have multiple lovers, but if they have a lover and then another lover, they won't get married. But if they're only lovers and they're not married, they won't have kids. Okay? So we were trying to more or less survive off of the dwarves having kids. And this one dwarf hooked up with my entire military. There was a total of about 30 dwarves in the fort. And she had like 14 lovers and a husband. And like, I ain't judging, like, good for her. But, fucking lady, I'm trying to, like, increase the population of this fort. Anyway, eventually she died of old age, and I was very happy. And then all those dwarves split off and got married with other dwarves, which was very funny. There was like 6 weddings in a year. I was very happy when that dwarf died. That's actually so great. Sure, but like, it's funny. However, it was also extremely inconvenient. This is a weird fort. Nobody's as happy as possible, but like, nobody's like super pissed off anymore. I mean, we've got several like less than ideal dwarves, but like, party in the schist. Is that what we're saying now? Is that what we call it now? Oh boy. So Forgotten Beast beating up some Crundles. Chat, I'm gonna go eat a boiled egg real quick. 2 seconds. Ha! Beat the load screen. No, I didn't. I went and ate a boiled egg. Sorry, diabetes things. My blood sugar went low about 2 minutes ago. So I, well, not 2, about 15 minutes ago now. So I ate some dextrose. And it's going to start dropping, and I'm going to go low again unless I eat some protein. So I went and ate some protein. I have a call? I think you mean you have a call. I mean, my phone did ring, but it's a suspected scam caller, so. They did leave a message, but it's kind of funny, actually, that you guys heard my phone ringing. Yeah. I will check my answering machine, but. No, it didn't leave a message. It was 0.01 seconds, so it can't have been important. If it was important, they'll call back. Because I was gone for like less than a minute. Means they didn't let it ring that long. All right, well, let's just dig this layer out, get these diamonds, if nothing else. Get them gems. I mean, there's nothing AI about that. AI is like, okay, AI is supposed to be a lot cooler. Just saying. We don't live in iRobot. It's just a grumble. This is inventing a problem to create a solution for the problem. Okay, so I can actually dig underneath all of this. And then just drop it. Which actually may be what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stop you from digging here. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to throw that in right there. And start digging. Yeah, it's we've just like created a automated variant of the like I am a foreign prince scams. That's all that we've really done. Hitting scammers with I gotta ask my mom first. If you're actually still getting like scam calls from people, your scammers need to level up their game, mate. I can't remember the last time I actually got a person through a scam call. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I managed to convince somebody here to not use I won't say which one, but a common model that all of you know, because I showed them what the power source for the thing looked like. They were like, yeah, no, I'm gonna, okay, no, you've convinced me. It's not worth the memes. Well, it's good to know that the scammers are still employed somewhere, Tibbe. You have a hall of fame for all of the best scam calls, scam emails you get, and oh boy, some are gems. I get some pretty funny ones too. Just like as a streamer. We're gonna get all of these diamonds hauled out of here. I still get people actually scam calling you because you have a number from Quebec and it's always in French. Of course it is. Have you ever just like tried speaking Spanish to them? It's just an intelligent bear trying to get your attention. You know, that would be way more interesting. Like, actually, that would be way more interesting. All right, let's do this and that. Well, I remember that there's a... I love that we're talking about AI again, but there's a quote from, I think, Sam Altman, like the ChatGPT guy, where he says, AI isn't intelligent, it's designed to make you think that it's intelligent. Which is basically like a nice way of saying AI isn't intelligent, people are stupid. If you think about it. It's broken French? Oh, so like they can't speak French is what you're saying. I mean, yeah. It's artificially, it's not artificial intelligence, it's artificially intelligent. Yes, correct. And don't scrape art with it. I mean, I've read so many like articles about small websites almost like having to consider like becoming password locked or shutting down because of like the traffic costs that they're getting impacted because of scraping. Like it's just scraping is super expensive. Sky Be Tired is completely correct, Blue Fox. AI is not, well, AI can be a tool with certain uses. Creative generation AI is not a positive thing. Like the only real legitimate use I can like justify personally is the stuff that's being used to help write code. Because like stuff that automates mundane repetitive tasks is what AI should be used for. Like there was another quote that I saw flying around like a little over a year ago now, which was we were supposed to make AI to run the factory so that we can make art, not make AI that makes art. And in my opinion, yes, it's a massive power draw and it sucks, but automating the mundane parts of coding is actually that use case. You know, the stuff that you can like, that normally would just be like, I'm just going to go copy this chunk of code that I already wrote and then repaste it here. If it just like automatically writes all that because it knows that you need that, that's useful. Or like very specialized models for research, like in medical applications, also useful. It's the issues arise when they're trying to make these general AI models that just fucking do everything badly. You know, like using it for specific use cases, that's a tool, right? Like when people call AI a tool, they're often referring to it like it's a hammer that you're going to need to use to put the nail in the wall. No, that's a specialized tool for a specialized task. You know those awful multi-tools that you can buy at novelty shops that have 15 knives, a fork, a screwdriver, a corkscrew, a toothbrush, somehow it's also a condom, and it has 75 carabiners in it, and fishing twine, and it's a fishing rod if you unfold it, and it's a chair. Nobody's actually sold that, but I've seen devices with close to similar numbers of items in it as that, and they're bad at all of them, and they fall apart in 6 months. And that's what they're trying to build, and they need to stop. Well, I mean, CVs shouldn't exist, but that's a different problem with society, Bummer. Although I'm all for using AI to apply it for jobs when they're using AI to vet people for jobs. Like, fight the problem with the problem. Go nuts. That shit sucks. Yeah, that's what I mean when I'm referring to specialized use case scenarios. Dadrick. That's what I'm referring to. I think that you should divorce your husband, Kitty Phone, in YouTube chat. Who says, Kitty Phone says that their husband started using Grok to translate. Grok translate to avoid having to type out text messages to them in English, which is like, I think it's time to end that marriage, but I mean, you live your life. Tell him to just marry Grok, actually. I mean, isn't Grok a girlfriend now? Well, what Bubmer says here, bro, if your partner won't go through the trouble of speaking at the bare minimum a tiny bit of your language, it ain't there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to, like, diagnose somebody's relationship from this far of a distance. That feels rude, but Napalm, it's good to see you. You hate everything you just heard. Same! Sorry, this sentence. If your partner is using a free Nazi to avoid talking to you directly, divorce is a legal option, not the correct one. Oh, shit. Sorry, this is becoming the politics minute with Blind and Chat, but I do have to say, billionaires being super worried about birth rates and then also building AI girlfriends constantly is really funny to me. It was calling... Well, okay. Hecka-Hitler? Mecha Hitler is funny. Can I just say that? Mecha Hitler is funny. It calling itself Mecha Hitler wasn't the problem. It being super racist and anti-Semitic is the problem. Mecha Hitler's funny. I can't lose Wolfenstein in this, okay? If AI makes me lose Wolfenstein, I'm gonna be really sad. Do I have to reclaim Mecha Hitler? Like, is that where we're at now? So if anybody's confused as to what I'm doing in game, I'm walling off this area so that Forgotten Beasts can't get in and demons can't get out. You know, reading what Blue Fox is writing in the YouTube chat, after what DeviantArt did, I stopped uploading and closed your ArtStation 2. It really sucked to see them work against artists. Depending on what you're doing, there is becoming a more, and more reasons to just fucking get a Tor browser or an Onion browser and just live in the dark web and put your art there. Is Armok Industries strike the earth? Don't say that too loudly or someone might actually call a company Armok Industries, and I think they could do that. Gonna build some minecart smashers and then invade hell. Do be wary of minecarts, though. A lot of minecarts are stopped very quickly by demons, so you might kill the first line of them. You're better off building shotguns that are reloadable. But yeah, I don't know. We live in a weird world, guys. We live in a weird world. Let's just suspend that. Just letting them clean that up. Let's clear this up. And that should be a full circle, more or less. Getting there. Not quite there yet, but we are getting there. This lower layer's done. When that's done, this layer's done. When that's done, this layer's done. And then down, down. This layer's going to need a bunch of work. But I can pretty easily pump lava up from here. 2 levels up onto here and get rid of a bunch of this water. Or alternatively, I could drain it? I don't know. Oh, if you're using impulse ramps, then don't worry. I thought this was like a first test thing. If you're using impulse ramps, then yeah, no, you'll just obliterate everything in sight. I could use impulse ramps for this fort if I get some heavier metals. A voracious cave crawler. Oh, he's fighting with a forgotten beast. Who's now dead. I haven't seen an alive for a voracious cave crawler in a while. They're always just dead. It's always a little bit annoying. With right rollers and left being left rollers with iron minecarts is the fastest way.
Hi.
Out of the fort. Wait, what? I found a 2-wide hallway with the left being right rollers and the right being left rollers with iron minecarts. Pretty effective. That's not a bad idea, actually. I've done similar. I did a similar thing with that. Although I did a 2-wide hallway with basically just minecart shotguns all the way along the side that was infinitely reloading with lava, and the impact of them hitting the platinum wall killed them. Syndra, thanks for the 24th month and the first notification of money in an hour. Appreciate you for helping keep the channel funded. And for the 24 months, Jesus. It's a long time. Thank you. All right, let's forbid everything down here. Orange, thanks for the 53rd month. Deep Sea Fishing, thanks for the 26th month. Thanks for all of the months, guys. This did get hooked up, yeah? Correct, it did. All that. All right. Then I will pull this lever. That's almost a hype train. Now, there shouldn't be anybody in here. And if there is, well, rip. We're going to cave this in. Who's coming to pull the lever? It's Romanoid! Deep within this place, we've uncovered what must be a treasure of the gods. Anonymous, thanks for checking out a gift. Appreciate you. Chat room, there's no hype train. Resubs, prime subs, bits, all go towards leveling it up, and you unlock emotes, and it's an excuse to give streamer money if you feel like it. Anonymous, thanks for the 5-pack. Appreciate you. Your desk chair is super uncomfy. You think it's time to go. It's kind of a shame, but still glad to exist around people for a bit. Well, cheers, Sky. Be tired. Maybe try and seek out a better office chair. I find some pretty good ones at thrift stores every now and again. Okay, so we've just uncovered what must be a treasure of the gods. Sideburns, thanks for the... Sideburns. Thank you much for the 32nd month. Scam train ahoy. It's a go-go. Seal clasped the gilded silks. It's a rusted metal halberd. Oh, it's a crescent rusted metal halberd. That should be a usable weapon, actually. And this is adamantine. You know, I'm like kind of all for the idea of siphoning them into a series of minecart rollers. I'm kind of all for that idea. Because I've got water right here, and I could power that really easily. The Forgotten Beast, Ozo Okamlasp, has come, an enormous humanoid composed of crystal glass. It has a curving horn and it undulates rhythmically. Beware its deadly spittle. Now, where is it? Okay, so it's in the middle cavern layer. Yeah, I mean, ramps if you want to go nuts. I mean, one of my favorite things to do is to have 2 rows of trapdoors with water beneath them, and then a bridge above them with lava above it. Drop the walking ones into the water using trapdoors, although it takes a billion mechanisms, and then you drop the lava on top of them, and then you turn them all into obsidian. Are you injured? Oh, okay. This guy's been on the map for a bit, I think. And killed another Forgotten Beast. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've done any obsidian casting like that, but... Load cage trap. That would imply that there's an empty cage trap. I have a caged magma man? Huh. Wow. That is cool. Yeah, no kidding. I should also probably seal off this layer. I can't train the magma man. But I could make a zoo. I'll throw him in there for now. It is a wooden cage, yes. It's a tower cap cage. 40 seconds left on the hype train. Needs 4 subscriptions to level up, or $16 in bits. Yeah, same. Bummer. Although that's like one of the planned changes for... what's it called? Sieges. Is to like give you more options of things to do with prisoners, which I presume that would include sentient invaders. So I think what I'm going to do, actually, is this, 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 this. Damn right, deep sea fishing. We don't know when we get anything. You know as much as I do. And I will never have the answers for you. All I know is the information that's publicly available, which right now is that is something they're planning to do. Which is, I realize, a non-answer, and I understand that that's suboptimal, but it's what I got. Oh, this is completely inaccessible right now because this is still locked. How do you make them citizens? You don't. Currently, you don't. You could hack the game. With DFAC, there's a command called make own. You select a thing and you type in make own, but that can cause all numbers of issues. But in the vanilla game, there is no way to make anything citizens. But there is a planned change to give you more options for things to do with prisoners. I have no idea what that actually means, though. Hey, chat, can I get a round of beers for the hype train? Please and thank you. Because it did just end, and nobody posted beers. Appreciate you, chat. 10 subscriptions and 0 bits. Something about bits that are just kind of funny in the current year. Yeah, when they leave with books or whatever. I don't know if I'd call that funny per se, but... All right, let's... trying to think how I would power this. Do I have any lava-safe stones? Dolomite's lava-safe, right? Let me just check. Mostly certain it is. Labor stone use. Yes, it is. So I'm going to make dolomite mechanisms. And this is going to be silly and annoying as hell to do. But I'm going to build a piece of dolomite, cover it in lava. And then once I'm done covering it in lava, I'm going to put water there and have mechanisms that are covered in obsidian because they still function. So what I need to do, basically, is I need to dig out here and here. Then I need to pipe lava into here with mechanisms right there. And then the layer above, or at least into these two tiles. And then from the layer above, dump water on them. Dolomite is. Not all flux. Also, I want to know what's right here. Because there's like an area that I can't see right here. It's a bit sketch, actually. Oh, I've made similar mistakes to this a lot of times. I'm not going to use impulse ramps. It's too strong. Well, Actually, this would help with the whole casting thing. So what I should be doing, actually, is channeling this up. Where does this start? Up here? Yeah, this will be fine. I'm going to do some really silly shenanigans for this. Let's also just stop this. It's not necessary. So I'm going to dig this out and I'm going to channel this whole thing down. I'm going to build the structure that I need to power this out of magma safe. I'm gonna do some silliness. We'll get some silliness. I hope you guys like silliness. But I'm going to build 4 magma safe mechanisms, fill this whole thing up with lava, recast it with water. I need iron. Fuck me, I need iron. Do I have... You know what, let's just do this. It'd be easier if I do it this way. Let's make a normal-ass forge down here. Maybe not here specifically. Let's go up to this and put it here. Metalsmith. Sure, I'll use my last piece of jet. And let's just go wood furnace. And smelter. That's the way to do this. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to make this for specifically metal ore. I don't have much, but I have a little bit. Justin, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Sorry, I was staring at forges. And because I'm in the middle of this dolomite, I can also make steel. Let's just make charcoal 40. Let's do that first. Get all that running. Because right now they're probably all just going to go... Wait, what? Why were they all this far out? It's odd. Or at least an odd route to take up here. I don't have much iron ore, but I did bring some with. Cheers, Juice. Mickey says opened floodgates will resist magma when closed, just as a constructed wall would, but when opened, they will be destroyed if they're not made from lava-safe materials. Yeah, and same with the mechanisms. If the mechanism or the floodgate are not made from magma-safe materials, they will fail. I'm just going to lock this gate. Well, maybe leave it unlocked. I don't know. I'm very much debating on what to do with this gate. I mean, that also goes for artifact floodgates, by the way. Samir Alvarez in YouTube chat says, I'm going to do my first fort. Any tips? Chats, any tips? Go. Uh-oh. Chat, was I at 27 population or 28? Also, Lanix is dead. And is completely surrounded by bits of random... creatures. Please tell me the baby got it. No. Darn. That would be great. Don't forget, well, and also quivers, Hylam. Okay, well, I thought I lost a dwarf for a second there, but... Where are we going? Literally just boulders. Okay, so you right here are making... Up. Ooh. Okay, chat, we got migrants. It's late spring. I need you all to cross your fingers and toes and eyes and nose. I don't know how you cross your nose, but we need it.
Woo!
I'm going to tell them to go this way. Word. And I'm going to open this. Thankfully, I think most of the biggest threats aren't on the map at the moment. Okay, who's coming to pull the lever? It's this peasant who's very close by the lever. Pretty close. You run up to the surface. The way is open. And now we can see what they do. People are so carried away sometimes, but not high. Well, put your money where your dwarf is and get to the hatch. Look at that whole line of them. Look at that whole line of them. Chat, we may hit 50 dwarves. 44. 45. Uh-oh. Hold up. Where are you going, Dwarf? Where are you going, Dwarf? So much for getting carried away. We're up to 50. The child abominable zombie has been struck down. The population begins to fall because it seems like a weasel caught up with them. And all of these dwarves are now smoke zombies. Did any of them make it in? Okay, it appears that we've got 1, 2, 3 that have made it in. I'm gonna go open up the other one over here. I'm also going to go into here and I'm going to forbid everything along here. Where the fuck are you going? I'm just gonna lock the doors on you, dwarves. I do not know what they're going for, but they're going for something. Okay, well, nightmares is happening. Two dwarves have been found dead. They've all turned around. Yeah, they were trying to go above ground. I don't know what for. But they were going for something. There's a dwarves' left ear went flying. These are all zombies now. All of them. This whole area is now filled with abominable smoke. Oops. The weasel got thrown. There's also a evil donkey foal who's trying to enter the fortress and is about to. I may actually just cancel this door being unlocked. Rovod's been struck down. We've got other dwarves that are, or were, still dwarfy, like this one. That area is a no-go. This area is basically the only possible go zone. Let's try it. Let's pull this. Arash has been struck down. 2 more of them have been struck down. We've got a bunch of very accomplished zombified wrestlers, and then this terrified peacock. I'm not naming any dwarves until things calm down, regardless, Zacher, so... I'm also just going to make my life a little easier here. Let's just go here and just turn off hauling. I don't know what they're trying to haul, but... there's just a mess happening over here. No, I just don't like distractions, and I would like the fort to not die. That's the actual concern here. It's not so much about, like, me hating naming dwarves that are likely to die. It's mostly just, I don't want the fort to fall, and that's the top priority here. And if I stop and name a dwarf, that's likely to cause problems. Let's close this. And open this. Let's also forbid this door. So this donkey's now locked in here. There is a dwarf right here who could survive, but we're opening up this right now. So this should be the only way in at the moment. And there's a bunch of peasants around the fort that are all very happy, as you can see. Let's see if any of them make it in. Chat, I need you to give these dwarves the best wish of luck you can. There's one. Another one falls. So one dwarf made it. So far. These are all possible dwarves, which are all running south. Here they come. But here come the zombies. I really hope... okay, I was going to say, I hope that this zombie makes it in first. Mebzuth here tries to be a hero, and immediately becomes a smoke zombie. Well, at least the moods are getting better. Okay, well, these guys are all done. Have you been here for a while? Yeah, you've been here for a while. So you're still, theoretically, are these all dwarves? You're a dwarf, you're a dwarf, you're not a dwarf. Okay, we're about to lose the last of them. And then these, zombie, 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 zombie. One. I should just close this gate, shouldn't I? So we've got one dwarf that made it in. Was that blacksmith? Man, this looked like it was going so well. It was going so well. Did I catch that donkey in a cage, though? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Oh, there's still a bone carver. It's now a dead carver. It's all because of that darn weasel. I hate it so much I could strangle it. Doggy, you're on the wrong side of history here. Just gonna lock that door. And so over here, we've got this one that seems to be taking off as one of the leaders. Also this one up here. Elbow key. It was very torn open. There isn't much left of her. How many have you killed? 5 notable kills. You also killed the weasel. Well, I mean, the strangled, I suppose. This dwarf here is fighting with her husband, who no longer has a nose. He knows no bounds. Now he's dead. Did you kill your husband? Oh, no. You did. This dwarf up here looks really funny. Is fighting with Zasset. They both legendary at this point, expert and legendary. This one, Rakust is probably gonna just move up here and fight with them, I presume. It's now just the 2 of them left. Anything can get named if it gets a notable kill. Or, yeah, I think it's a notable kill and they get a name. So who's pissed? It is Mural, who just arrived. Is this who you wanted, Zacher? You wanted the dwarf that made it in. I love how it's like, we were at 50 dwarves for a moment. But now here we are. Oops, there's no E there. It's just straight into the R. Zacher. Only rarely feels strong cravings or urges, does not easily fall in love or does not develop positive feelings, is somewhat fearful in the face of imminent danger, and can occasionally lose focus on the matter at hand. Often is cheerful and often acts with compassion. Has a tendency towards forming deep and emotional bonds with others, and has an active sense of humor. Has a greedy streak and tends to make a small mess with her own possessions. So this was my fault. I could have stopped this from happening, but I haven't finished that last tunnel. So I'm going to make that last tunnel, or rather, I'm going to make 2 more entrances to the southern tunnels so that we can maybe have some more luck. She's pleased by her own appearance and talents, and she often feels envious of others and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and doesn't really care about anything anymore. Dreams of crafting a masterwork someday, and personally believes that it is important to conceal emotions and refrain from complaining, and values beauty, values honesty, and sees war as a useful means to an end. Likes rose gold and resin opal, as well as giant warthog leather, amber, naff fabric, and the color flax. And the color flax. High boots and backpacks and cabinets and large gems and splints and valley herbs for their tiny leaves, and the words of the wavy grower, and the sound of the pregnant couple. I know that this is music game, but sometimes I question. And the site of the cardinal, at least it's not the site of the pregnant couple, and the prefers to consume carambola wine and bumblebee and royal jelly. Bumblebee royal jelly. So like sleep problems, I guess. Rye flour and the query bush leaves and absolutely hates oysters. Strange tombs indeed. Strange tombs indeed. All right, so for a while there, I didn't bother finishing this side because of all this. But I very clearly need an entryway on over here. So we're going to do that. And also, I'm going to start engraving slabs. So just for the ones that are here. Oopsies. There's always been more memorials than population in this fort. Mebzuth U. Attis R. Kivish. Rigoth. Erish. And lastly, Locum. It's probably actually an Elvish song because they have all of those words in their generators. Flameforge, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Hello. What were you up to today? What are we playing? And I immediately get a ghost. Go figure. Are major cowards, they get spooked by a single unicorn? I have a question. Is it the goblins getting spooked, or is it their mounts getting spooked? Good old school RuneScape. Gotcha, gotcha. Good luck on the Dwarf. Well, thank you. And thanks for thinking about me for the raid. Appreciate you, mate. You know, the dwarves going back for their stuff isn't what killed them. What killed them was they got cut off by a infected creature. Man, I was so hopeful for a minute there. It's like a hero's 100-yard dash that they have to make to not die. But yeah, I guess it's also kind of why you don't run back into a burning building, right? No matter how much your stuff is worth. Was so close. Yeah, so close to almost saving a bunch of dwarves, but we didn't. Enjoy your lurks, Necrontier, if that's what you're doing. Sprinting off across the snow again? Well, I did... They started dying after I disabled hauling. So the hauling wasn't the issue. They sprinted off across the snow because suddenly there was a murder weasel in front of them that was killing them. It's basically like a rat, like the rabid squirrel from Ice Age. Just surprised suddenly out of nowhere. It's more or less that. Okay, so now I can re-enable this. You actually get in trouble for going back into your apartment after you got the call. There was a fire on the 3rd floor and your cats were on the 4th? Oh, man. I mean... Oh. It's been put to rest. Whenever I see that, I'm like, uh-oh. Okay, so now we've got 2 really upset dwarves. Who's the other one? Entropy? What did you see? Oh, you got haunted by the dead. Yeah, that'd do it. Let's smelt this lemonite ore. I'm just gonna repeat it until it's all done. At this point, I wouldn't run out with my PC. I would run out with my NAS, which is much smaller than the PC. And probably my bicycle, actually. I used to, whenever the fire alarm would go off, and there was a couple fires in my old building. Nothing, like, major, though. Whenever the fire alarm would go off, I would literally just put in earplugs and keep working. Because I lived on the ground floor. So, when the fire alarm would go off, I'd look out the window and, like, try and figure out what floor it was on. And then just, like, put in earplugs and mute the fire alarm until it came back on. Was literally the habit that I had, which is a terrible habit. Maybe don't do that, but that is what I used to do when the fire alarm would go off. And since moving, the fire alarm hasn't gone off once in this building. Although, I will say the backup sound that the local street cleaners make sound like the fire alarm in my old building, so it kept tripping me up for the first week, like, couple weeks I lived here. So one chest you can grab and toss your hardware into and run? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I was... There was one time where I had a fireman say that there was actually a fire in the building. He's like, there's actually a fire in the building. I'm like, where? And he goes, underground parking. I'm like, okay. And then I went to go close my door and he goes, no, you have to evacuate the building. I'm like, mate, I'm 10 steps from the building and I'm at the other end from where the fire is. Like, I think I'll be... God damn it. So yeah, I got scolded by a fireman once. Yeah, this fort is like such a mix of emotions. It's like, on one hand, it's like, man, we did it. We survived. Followed by, oh no, we definitely did not survive. It's fun like that, I guess. Okay, so... Smoke is the issue. Orange. It's that murder weasel again. I don't know if it was the same one, though. There was, I think in my memory, I've only witnessed one catastrophic fire in a building, and that was a series of townhomes that were a couple streets up from me that all burnt down. And that was pretty brutal to witness, but... So I'm going to fill this first layer up with lava, where all of this is right here. After I decide where I'm going to put the tracks, then I'm going to dump water on top of it and cast it into obsidian. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, it's carbon monoxide is the issue. Doubly so outside the U.S. where buildings tend to not be made. Yeah, no, if you live in a concrete building, definitely get out. Absolutely. In my current building, I would probably take it more seriously, but that's because I haven't lived here long enough to really know what the proper way to react is. I think once you've lived in a place for a really long time, a lot of people build up habits for how they respond to stuff like that. But why are we talking about burning buildings? How did we get here? Like, how did this conversation start? So I need one. Let's actually do this way. I'm gonna do a super janky pumping system because I'm gonna manually pump it. So I'm gonna start here. This will be pump number 1. This will be pump. This right here will be pump number 2. And this number here will be pump number 3. And then that's where I need the lava to go. So I should just be able to pipe it along the side here. Maybe? Or let's pipe it up here. Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, right. Okay, I did mention running back into a burning building and then it turned into cats. Got it. Yes. I'm back in some semblance of reality. Okay. That's going to be how I'm going to do this. And then this can be channeled. Yes. If it goes off, I do vacate quickly because that's more terrifying to you than fire. Oh, carbon monoxide. I thought that you were saying vacating was more terrifying to you than fire. And I was like, how is vacating terrifying? All right, let's do this. Go along here. Also going to claim all of this. And claim all of this. And then I'm going to need to repipe this, so I'll probably just move the lava pump, actually. I've also got a ghost named Cole. Let's get all these built if I can. Arush. Locum. Ghost named Cole. Whoa, we've got wolves on the surface now. Zombie wolves. Look at that. I mean, we were at 50 dwarves a minute ago. Durisher. And now most of them live here. Most of them are here. Some of them are here. You know, it's a good time. What's up, Sandra Casserole? How is things, my friend? Curse that damn dead weasel. You missed the tragedy? What a tragedy. I mean, the weasel started it, okay? The only survivor was Zacher. It was horrifying. Truly. Absolutely horrifying. Thankfully, I don't have to brew that much extra alcohol, but, like, still. Let's also throw wood into here. So I can make coal faster. Okay, so down in the bottom of this, I'm going to make ramps. This is going to be where the tracks are. Oopsies. That's going to be where the tracks go. And then I'm going to have power here and power here. Let's just do it this way. Power is going to go here out of dolomite. Well, it's all going to be dolomite. Power is going to go here. I'm also going to put power up here. I'm doing more power than I need to. I'm kind of doing that intentionally. And then I'm going to put, we'll say, 3 walls here and 3 walls here. And I'm going to put ramp here and ramp here. And then I'm going to put another set on top. Today I learned when you have squads with only spears, your fort will die to a brass titan. Well, okay, brass titan or bronze colossus? Although it depends on the material of the spears. If it's a material that's stronger than brass, no, you won't die. Although it also depends on the skill level of your dwarves. It's got more to do with that than brass. Who in DF specifically puts out fires? Nobody. You don't. Nada. They can kill a bronze colossus, but bronze colossus are something you don't want to fight in melee range. I've seen dwarves kill a bronze colossus with 1 bolt. The youngest unnamed dwarf. I don't know who that is. This one's 23, so I'm going to go with that. Does this work, Lightning? We don't have any children in the fort. There is a... Actually, hold on. There is a baby zombie. Do you want the baby zombie? They will always be 1 year old. Yeah, but like... No zombies, please? Okay, so you want to be Lore Bam then. Forever young. I want to be forever young. Lightning Roger. Sound paint. Oh, we're in an ad break. I'll pause. It truly treasures the company of others and is very ambitious, is always looking for a way to better her situation, and she rarely develops negative feelings. She is stubborn, and she prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible. She tends to make a small mess with her own possessions and could be considered rude. She has a calm demeanor, and she generally is quite confident in her abilities when undertaking specific ventures. She's not particularly interested in what others think of her, and she has an active imagination. She tends to form only tenuous emotional bonds with others, and she is somewhat quarrelsome. She is conflicted by this for more than one reason, and she tends to stretch when she's bored, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day. She personally would have the world operate in complete harmony, without the least bit of strife or disorder, finds following of tradition, of foolish and limiting waste, and doesn't care about nature one way or another, and doesn't really see the point of working hard, and yet dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. She likes marcasite and copper, as well as pinfire opal, giant lorikeet tooth and quivers, as well as cassowary men for their casks, and the sound of the taup suitor, and the sight of the saffron of trotting, and when possible prefers to consume pendant amaranth beer and absolutely hates blood gnats. Her eyebrows are extremely low. Her nose bridge is concave, and she has a broad chin. Her head is somewhat short. Her ocular eyes are slightly sunken. Her ears have small lobes, and her hair is copper. Her long hair is braided, and her skin is brown. She has a large family. Her cousin is an abominable zombie. Her other cousin is just dead. Oh no. She's lost 2 family members. At least she didn't see them die from what I can tell. But she did get haunted by the dead, so that's never good. Speaking of the dead, do I have any ghosts that I can memorialize? Yes, I do. Cole can go away. Welcome to the fort. You know, I feel really bad for Gen Beta. Imagine being the beta generation. I'm just gonna do this back to back. So we're gonna make Lemonite, Pig Iron, and then start repeating Pig Iron and Steel. Yeah, but then they're terrible at dodging, though. Like, you need more than just picks to be effective at fighting. Like, they might, if they get the first hit, like Bubmer is saying, if they get the first hit, very effective. But they do need other skills. So if, like, you want to use pickaxes as a weapon, you do need to train them in wrestling every now and again and other things so that they learn some basic dodging skills. Otherwise, they'll just take, like, 3 hits and die. You do need more than just mining, but the actual, like, skill with the pickaxe, so, like, skill of hitting thing with pick is the mining skill. And then make steel. And pig iron. The picks must never cease swinging. This is true. Okay, so. Hauling item in bin. What item? Okay, well, you must be going elsewhere to put item in bin. All right, so this down here is also getting constructed. 1 piece at a time. Durashar, thank you very much for the tier 1. Appreciate that. I do get 70% of that. So that goes a long way. Cheers, dude. Chat room, can I get a round of beers for the brand new tier 1 subscription? I mean, what's ironic, Kitty Phone, in YouTube chat, is every single time the Outpost Liaison has shown up, we've managed to speak with them and they've gotten out alive. Not a single trade caravan's made it in yet. So I haven't actually managed to trade in this fortress yet, which is really funny, actually. Okay, so now I can go up to here, 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 and here. Liaison is Rambo. Sort of, yeah. Or just, like, exceptionally lucky. Like, really talented in the skill of dumb luck. At least the Mountain Home knows that they're not dead. It might be better if they thought we were dead, though. But they do know that we're still here. Word has made it out. All right, I'm going to need 3 corkscrews. Actually, I think I need to make another bedroom too. Steel, cork, steel, pipe, and 3 of each. Nimlark, thank you very much for the 35th month. Welcome back. Exclamation point goal and watch the first 10 minutes of that video is the TLDR. But if you go to the surface, you die, is the really short version. That's the condensed TLDR. Go to the surface, you're probably gonna die. Oh. Don't do that there. That's too close to the edge of the map. Okay. Let's just go back to here. I don't actually need more beds. That's kind of wild, but Zacher does. So I'll give Zacher one of these nicely cobwebbed up bedrooms. This is like the only area that has like somewhat nice-ish bedrooms. It's like the most completed bedrooms in the fort. Oh, did I refer to that as a sub? I'm very tired, Nimlark, but I meant to refer to that as a streak. I did read what it was, but... Streaks are quite impressive, especially because a lot of them have been broken. Like, there was a few people for a while there that had, like, 100+ stream streaks. Dwarf, you're gonna deserve some sort of award after that. But, sorry, I'm just kind of out of it today. I'm also just gonna throw a doorway in this because it's easier. Oh, I don't have any. Let's make some rock doors, then. What's my manager up to? Oh, you're making pig iron. Well, stop doing that. Go manage work orders, you doof. By how you and Bastet are now out of sync by 2? Wait, are you? That doesn't seem right. How? It's like one of you somehow time traveled. Okay, so either Bastet has always had 2 less than you, or like... that's crazy. Truly, that is crazy. The furnace operator has been taken by a Fey mood. You right here. Oh, I was hoping you were going to go claim the forge, but no. You're a clother. Ah. Well, I do need a clothing industry at some point, so maybe I'll just dig this out a little bit. Expandeth my industry. Industry, we have industry. No, we're talking about streaks, not subs. What have I been doing? Up and down. I'm okay this week. Very tired today because I was up kind of late last night and then didn't sleep very well. So, I'm all right. I'm getting by. I'm a little loopy, but, you know. Getting by. Waiting for summer to be over at this point. Yeah, mostly just waiting for summer to be over. How are you, Psychon? Can I show you how to set up warehouses for clothes and goods correctly? Not in a reasonable amount of time. What do you mean? I guess the question is, what do you mean by correctly? Like, you make a stockpile and you set it for clothing. I don't know what you mean by correctly. Just run between warehouses and change clothes and rearm? Chat, can anybody here decipher what this issue is? That to me sounds like you've got dwarves with conflicting uniforms. So do you have dwarves that are in the military but also are miners? Do you have dwarves that are in the military but are also woodcutters? Because that would do that. But that's got nothing to do with warehousing. If they're constantly like swapping uniforms, it means that they're assigned to too many jobs that require uniforms simultaneously. Jealous. Can I come too, Psychon? That will forever be the thing that I will be jealous about other people for, is I don't have the ability to go outside as much as I want to. I mean, I can within cities, but... I gotta raid like 5 necro... Only 5? To have philosopher warrior kings. Well, I mean, this is why you check your books before you put them in the library, you know? There we go. Clother is a go-go. Hey, now, you know, honestly, now that this dwarf is going to go make some artifact clothing, I can just make this dwarf my only clother after the fact, because we'll have a legendary clother. It's 2 pieces of silk, pyrites, blocks, pyrites, and works furiously. Look at that. Well, that's nifty. If you look at the one that just turned Bubmer, you can see what they most recently learned in their memories, and that usually tells you what the next one is. A dress will be made. Well, I'm thinking, like, in the future, we can just get this dwarf to make all my clothing, because I'm not going to need a lot of it. I'm going to need 1 dwarf, really. So we can just have really nice, high-quality clothes, at the very least, if nothing else. Okay, let's go down to here. And go screw pump. And screw pump. Oh, actually, did I make you out of the right materials? That's the question. No access to pipe section. I don't know about that. Are these all getting hauled somewhere now? Did I not have one placed? I'm confused. Oh well, whatever. Let's let them make those pipes. We've made 1. Must be getting hauled somewhere. You know, you might be the first person I've ever seen in my life that wants more dwarf complaints. Durashar. It's like, you know what would be a nice feature? More dwarven petitions. You know what I hear people complain about all the fucking time? Dwarven petitions. Like, there's so many petitions. It's like, I mean, there's not that many, but that might be a first, I think. Like, I don't disagree. I think it's really funny because I never see that. It's your favorite thing? You must be Canadian. Not quite English? Ah, close enough. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this would be useful, okay? Okay, let's see. Can I get another pump up here? Nope. It's a face veil, actually. A ball. Oh, man, it's bulky. Forgotten the Nil Acrulorodim, the furnace operator, has created Lani Ramal, a bulky cave spider face veil, and claims it as a Hamley Fairloom. Well, that's great. I'm going to give it as a... thingy to my expedition leader via the management position. So that was Nil who did that. This is now just going to be Nil. And I'm going to make silk cloak, silk trousers, silk sock, silk shoe. And I will do all of these yearly. What else are you wearing? Tunic. Tunics it is. We'll also do that yearly. I'll remove you from other tasks for now, so you're just going to do clothing. That's the elves, Tibet. Your main reason for thinking is it's quite tedious trying to figure out who actually is suitable for military jobs when you have a lot of dwarves. You mostly just... Okay. Most dwarves are not suitable... Okay, here's the reality. Maybe 90% of your dwarves, unless you have a really weird faction, are suitable military dwarves. However, there is an asterisk to that. Oh boy. Some migrants have arrived right next to some murder elk, probably. There is a... Don't use DF hack. There is an asterisk to that. Finding a perfect military dwarf, and if that's your goal, you're probably playing the wrong game. Most dwarves, like the vast majority of them, are not going to be good in the military. If you have a dwarf that dreams of mastering a skill, they'll do fine with training. And that's all you really need. Or if you see a dwarf that wants martial training, or excitement, or fighting, or is brave in the face of imminent danger. That's all you really need, is one of those. Don't use DF hack. Cheating isn't the solution to anything. All right, so Lightning Roger is still on the screen, but yes, well, here we go again. Okay, wait, they're very distracted with each other. Okay, maybe I'm saying there's a chance. I'm saying there's a chance. There isn't much of a chance. I'm going to just open this up. That's closed. Okay, so they can't actually get into the fort with this. But I can get them to go right here. Okay, well. We'll follow the first few. Chat, can I get something for good luck? Click the party button in the YouTube or the like button or whatever, and beers in Twitch chat, please. Then don't watch Flagrant Facts if it hurts your eyes. I'm sure there's games that won't hurt your eyes. They're running away in fear from something. It's this guy. That's what they're running from. So let's prioritize this way and this way. Okay, we're back at it. One dwarf's been found dead. So far, so Dwarf. There. Okay, I do need to set this as like a no-go zone. And instead tell him to go this way. And this way. Please reroute a little bit. Oh boy. If this dwarf makes it through this, I will be shocked. Oh my god, you made it through. Okay. Now we hope that they're intelligent enough to wait, because you're clear. You're clear. I will just reiterate, if you feel the need to resort to cheating, then you're not playing the video game. And if you don't want to play the video game, that's okay. But just realize that that's what that is. If you're letting the game filter it for you, you're not really taking the time to get to know your dwarves or allowing mistakes to happen. Which, for me, is something I very much value in this game. Because that's a large portion of the excitement and fun that I get in this game. So if that's not something you value, then go nuts. Play however you want. But I value that kind of a lot. I think that's all we're getting. Chat, we got some dwarves in the fort. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dwarves. Bummer. If the migrants make it, can you name the one with the weirdest haircut after you? This guy's got a weird looking beard. Bummer. Is made deeply uncomfortable by differences in cultural appearance. Mate, look at yourself. He rarely feels discouraged and prefers to present himself modestly. He isn't particularly ambitious, and he is grateful when others help him out. He tries to return favors, and he doesn't handle stress well. He is somewhat quarrelsome, and he is bothered by this since he values friendship. He does not go out of his way to help others, and inhales sharply when he's angry. He tenses up when he's nervous. I mean, you kind of look like you were raised by humans. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't mind being outdoors at least for a time. He dreams of raising a family, personally values decorum, dignity, and proper behavior, and finds blind honesty foolish and respects perseverance and doesn't really value merrymaking. He likes topaz and donkey hoof, as well as the color yellow-green. Cabinets and wolves for their cunning, and the words of the wavy grower, and when possible prefers to consume silvery gibbon and kangaroo trees and beetroot wine. And absolutely hates snails. He's got a pretty big family. His nephew's dead. Rip. And welcome to the fort. I'm just gonna go opens the doorway and let you suckers through. That's a really good way to get timed out in my chat, actually. Bummer. I don't particularly enjoy casual role-playing of racism. I find it to be a little bit disturbing. The dwarf named Snail. That is funny, though. Tibbe. You're just waiting for something to happen. We just had a bunch of dwarves die that migrated onto the map. What are you waiting for to happen? What do you need? And then some dwarves made it. I'm doing constructions down below. We also had an artifact. Is Snail even alive? Yep. Fight cod. Right there. It's one of my miners. Actually, like, once dwarves get into the fort, they're pretty safe generally. It's just the getting into the fort that's the problem. Bub and Snail are sworn enemies. Wouldn't it be great if they got married? I'm just saying. Snail actually has a lot of friends in the fort, so... Enemies to lovers. Kindred spirits, if you will. That would be great. One of my favorite kindred spirits I've seen recently was the vampire I had in a fortress. Was kindred spirits with the captain of the guard who kept arresting him. That one was pretty good. I think what I'm actually going to do... So I'm just going to grab you. Actually, hold on. I wonder. I don't really want to just keep making charcoal because it's time-consuming and annoying. How much of this do I have done? I've got an ad break that's running, so I will just not unpause until it's done. Yeah, okay. Let's just make... maybe 20 charcoal. Just get those pipes done. So I got 2 steel bars, that's all we need. Oh, that needs to be forbidden. Enemies to lovers, slow burn, 290,000 words. That's a lot of words. That's a bromance. One of my favorite dwarf couples I ever had was I had a dwarf whose wife was murdered right at the very end of a fort, and I felt bad. And then I started a new fort in the same world with the same faction, and that dwarf showed up with a husband who looked identical to him. So after his wife died, he went and found love again, but they had the exact same face sprite. It was very fucking funny to me. What's up, Rexar? It was like, your clothes! You just found a twin! The hell? What was the bug that stopped the new playthrough? Forgotten Beasts not having powers in recently generated worlds in the current versions. So if you want to roll back to an older version, if you want to generate a world in this, you want some really weird happenings. So I've just got this dwarf just repeatedly making masterwork clothing now, which is actually pretty nice. Look, see, we got masterwork tunic. It's also, this dwarf's also really quick at it, which is kind of nice. Let's make a loom. And I'm probably also going to need some more bedrooms, aren't I? And then let's throw in a door. Go multi. Oopsies. Bed, 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 and bed. There we go. All caught up. They don't, unless, okay, the only thing that can be problematic about intelligent undead zombies in your fort that are friendly is I don't think their moods change. I'm pretty sure they're just kind of locked at whatever they were at when they died. So if they were tantruming when they died, I've had them keep tantruming. So that can be kind of a problem. Outside of that, they're just kind of like worker drones, mostly. 65 of them? That's a few. It's been a while since I've done a really zombie-heavy fort. I find it to be very samey, but... used clothing. No name. I literally just search by X and sell everything with an X next to it. That's usually my main trade good. Let's see, did they finish making those pipe sections? Congratulations on a successful return. Well, we've got charcoal now. Let's just try re-upping these. Two. Except I kind of don't want you doing this job. Because you doing this job is stopping you from setting up this. So let's actually just pause this. Till you're done managing work orders. Which will bring this in. Then I can unpause this. Fort is thriving? I don't know if I would say thriving. But it's been worse. It's been worse. Thriving is maybe a bit of a exaggeration, I guess. Why did you cancel your task? I may need a new manager. This dwarf is not functioning quick enough. Matter, I'll just take you off this task. Just gonna queue this up, I think. Is it under furniture? So I do have plenty of steel. I think. Why do I keep clicking on nickel? What's wrong with me? Okay, what are we missing? Oh, I need 3. For some reason, I thought I needed 2. Okay, well, fine then. Grumble. The fort is indeed forting, Darius. It is indeed forting as much as a fort could dwarf. Also, hello, Hangman. Those things. Trying to somehow make a semi-efficient fire imp farm to get more fireproof layers. To get more fireproof layers. You mean fireproof defenders? Like, are you trying to fend off? Are you trying to use them to, like, defeat hell? I'm not sure how fire imps translates into hell defense. How does that translate into hell defense? Sure, but what does okay, I understand that you're working your way into hell. I don't understand how the fire imps factor into this. Okay. Are you trying to make fire imp leather? Why do you need to be fireproof to go into hell? Sure. But why do you need to be fireproof to go into hell? Like, are you charging them in melee? I mean, why? I mean, okay. The last few times I've gone into hell, I've had so many monsters with deadly dust that, like, fighting them in melee is, like, a no-go. But, I mean, hey, more power to you if you're able to pull it off. You kind of have to charge in to build something? Okay, fair enough. I mean, you're just doing silly shenanigans. I mean, I think I said that to you already once today. I was just a little bit confused as to why. I mean, if I was in that position, I would just be like, all right, no clothing, but I also don't ever bother doing armor layering, so I'm just like chronically lazy when it comes to a lot of things. I mean, that's not that crazy, actually. The 3 layers above ground thing. I'm just gonna dig out a bunch of this. I'm being very inefficient today because I'm just sleepy. Brain isn't quite working at full capacity for fortressing efficiently. In any sense. Okay. Well, that's not good. We've unlocked an Echo of Forgotten Divine Retribution. Did something cave in? Yeah, it did. Well, that's really bad. Like, really bad. Chat room, it's time to scream. Because this is a Lashid Slayer Hammerman. Which is multi-grasping a blistering metal maul. And it has a large, sheer, patchy leather skirt. It is large. What is it? It's a humanoid composed of ash. It has a round shell, and it is a rattling exhale. It was created by the dwarven goddess Lashid, and is part with death, deformity, disease, and jewels. Well, fuck me. Tapioca is getting thrown around by the dust. Lobster isn't yet. The question is... Uh-oh. No. Well. Nice knowing you, Tapioca. I think the creature may be dead, though. Oh, nope. Never mind. It's going up. Going up. Its right hand is missing, though. Let's also run into here and forbid everything. Well. Goodbye, Tapioca. I will miss you. And your pickaxe. Chat, can I get a round of Fs? I want to say this was, yeah, this was one of the starting 7 dwarves. That's a big bummer. And the creature is landed down on the ground in here. It hasn't dropped its weapon. But it is just sitting there. Now the question is... have all of the dwarves run? I think they have. I don't think they're cage trappable. I'm pretty sure they're trap avoid. But it is right here. I can close it. I could make a zombie fight it. What if I make a zombie fight it? Do you think a zombie would want to fight it? Zombies are cage trappable. Let's make a zombie fight it. You can trap the warriors? Can you trap all of them? I don't know. I still want to make a zombie fight it. I feel like I've had them walk over traps, but... but I want to make a zombie fight it. Because how often do I get to make a zombie like this fight it? Watch it, like, not fight it. Worst case scenario, I just re-cage trap them and move on with my life. I'm also just going to throw some doors up in here. Oh, actually, that's a bad spot. Let's go up here. I do really want a zombie to fight it. I do really want to do that. Well, I mean, you can, if something lies down, anything can be cage trapped, right? Like a forgotten beast can be cage trapped if it lies down on the trap. So that's, if you're saying they eventually fall into them, that's not relevant. But anyway, they're either trap avoid or they're not. I've seen them walk directly over cage traps though before, but I wonder if it's like a knowledge thing where like if they are aware of its existence, they don't get cage trapped in it like dwarves because they're intelligent. So like if somehow if the trap was built after they were exposed on the map, maybe then, I don't know. Anyway, I've definitely had them walk over traps before, so I kind of don't trust it. I'm just going to sit here and wait a little longer for this cage, because this dwarf is doing it. Let's see which dwarf we get. Devil Dawn, thank you very much for that 5-pack of gift subs. That means a lot, dude, because I'm barely halfway to the daily minimum. So appreciate you, dude. Thanks for helping keep the channel funded. And I didn't make the daily minimum yesterday, so it's been weird days. Let's get this done. Got Servesh. This dwarf is legendary fighter and wrestler. Can't stand, and the ability to grasp is somewhat impaired. I'm going to jump to this bridge. And Tapioca's been missing for a week. Shocker there. Oh, I've also got a memorial I gotta set up. You know what? I'm gonna start throwing them into the temple. So most of these dwarves are redistributing back down into here. Looks like the lever's been pulled. Yep. The way is shut. Although, I did forget to connect you to a lever, so now I just feel dumb. Let's open this up again. Hopefully I didn't squish any. Oh. I was going to say, hopefully I didn't squish anybody, and then I saw another name appear there, and I was like, oh god, I squished somebody! No, I didn't. I just simply laid that child to rest. Let's throw another one in here. Exactly, Bonesaw. How's the Bones of Saws doing todays? How many times have you listened to Creed today? I kind of wish that we could just write images on slabs like the humans can. That would be nifty. Because then we could just put, like, you know, do not pull this fucking lever sign next to the lever. That isn't, like, you know, just me writing a name for the lever. Because I think that would be fun. Sensual Casserole, thanks for the 5-pack. Appreciate you. Hey, you sniped Flameforged. You rated us earlier. And Selena's going to put in a second one, or a second link in the trigger. We should also queue up gloves as well soon. Stonefall traps are useless unless you're trying to make something fall off of something, Bismuth. And weapon traps are bloody overpowered, and I don't like them. Have I tried? Certainly when I was bad at this game. There's a point, I think, like, the overuse of traps is something that you do if you are learning the game. But really, I just find traps boring. So have I? Yes. Do I? No. Chat room, this game takes a little while to save. This fort takes a little while to save, so I'm going to go use the washroom. And we'll be back momentarily. Hey, I beat it. Look at that. Is it like your alarm sound or something, Bonesaw? Yeah. Well, also, yeah, they get clogged and they break. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like using weapon traps unless I kind of am forced to. All right, so now I close this. And then when this is closed, right here, I go over to this. All right, chat. Think tempting thoughts. We need to tempt this zombie to where it needs to go. Otherwise, this is going to be a very wasteful exercise. Although there is a dog down there, so maybe the dog will help. Ha! Excellent! This is precisely what we needed. Get him, buddy. Also, I'm sorry, Pupper. The dog's gonna die too young. The dog was a good dog. Wow. I already got it. Holy shit, what did you... The Lashid... Okay, so... What did you actually do to kill it? The Dwarf Bone Doctor, Abominable Smoke Zombie, bites him? Did he bite him? He literally shook him around by the head. The severed parts sailed off in an arc, and it remained in his grasp. So what did you... He bit him in the head and ripped his head off. He bit him in the head and ripped his head off. He bit him in the head and ripped his head off. And then I guess spat it out. So the Dwarf Bone Doctor, how long did you lose the grip of it? Because it's no longer in his mouth. Then killed the dog by punching it in the lower body with his right hand, and the injured part turned into a lump of gore. All right, well. The next task is to go, did I lock the gate? Yes, I did. So I'm going to go to right here. And I'm going to go... Well, actually, I'm going to go unlock this gate so I can actually do this. We need to name him the something. It needs to be a good name. That's for sure. I think he's earned one after that. And then I'm going to go here and throw in a rope, I think. Nope, I don't have any ropes. Okay, well then I'm going to go here and I'm going to pen past or something. Ooh, yes, I'm going to pen past or something. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to go cage trap, cage trap, cage trap, cage trap. Nibbler? Headhunter's pretty good. I'm going with Headhunter. I mean, he is absorbed in the beauty of the natural world and troubled by this since he dislikes the natural world. $33 dwarves? 33 legendary dwarves? I don't get it. Oh, the fact they're not all legendary, but there is 33 dwarves in this fort. That is correct. So now what we're doing is we're going to cage trap him. And I'm going to cage trap him by putting some sort of livestock down here. Let's just put a yak calf right here. Cool. I do have 4 cages. Survive on this map equals legend. True. True. I don't know about that. Although, speaking of legends, everybody in the chat, if you're watching this channel today, I just want to say thank you. Because I get to do this job. I get to be the person who plays Dwarf Fortress and calls it a job, which feels like a crime in some ways. So I just have to say thank you, because if you didn't tune in and watch this stream, I wouldn't have this job. So thank you for watching and letting me have this job, because that's pretty nice of you. Survive? Survive, not thrive. You know, there's a difference here. We're surviving, we're not thriving. Just as a reminder, I will not be streaming tomorrow. I need to get caught up on YouTube editing because I've got a couple busy weekends where I won't be able to stream on Fridays even if I wanted to coming up. And during those busy weekends, I will be, attending a wedding and a few other things. So I need to get caught up on the YouTube side of things. Tomorrow's Friday. Today is Thursday. I'm very sorry, enemy. If today was Friday, then that would mean I slept for a really long time. Also, an ad break's running, so I will pause the game until the ads are done. I intend to try Central Casserole. Malus55, if you would like to generate a world, if you go to the betas tab, you can roll back to a slightly earlier version of the game and generate a world in version 51.13, which won't have the issues. Unless you're specifically waiting for changes, like for mods or something. Also, old worlds are totally fine still. Hey. Oh, sorry. Big yawn. Although, I will say, some of the bugs in the current version do seem kind of entertaining. I mean, people have been adding Forgotten Beasts to squads, for fuck's sake. Like, there's some game-breaking shenanigans going on, but there's also some really funny shit happening. So, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad, I guess. Correct. If you, in YouTube chat, they're talking about selling caged creatures. If the creature in the cage isn't tame or trained, it's released when the cage arrives in the trading depot. So if I were to sell a zombie, or try to sell a zombie, the zombie would be released when it arrived at the trade depot. The next thing I do is I open the front gate to let the headhunter back in. Now the question is, do I tempt... Oh, there we go. I was going to say, do I tempt fate, or do I just kind of hope he goes? You know you want that tasty baby yak. The tender morsels of meat are right there. And bang, got him. All right, well, that's one problem solved. Now that we've fixed that problem, let's start a new problem. Or cause a new problem. Cause more problems? Yes, that. It's time to open this up and go pump some lava. I would just like us to give our dwarves a pat on the back. Because we have removed that angel and we didn't even need to look at it. Now we just need to go clean up the detritus remainder, and this is a very terrified... Panicked after being attacked. You know, honestly, so would I. Let's go down to here, and down into here, and select all this, and set it to be melted, I think. Because that jagged metal, blistered metal maul needs to be melted, for sure. Hundo percento. I'm also going to jump up to here, and I'm going to place this. Because rest in peace, Tapioke. You died too young, poor dwarf. Let's get some silk gloves. And then, dwarves collecting webs. I'm going to go over to here again. I'm going to unforbid all of this. I'm going to go up to here because I'm doing a very inefficient manual pump. But it's going to be part of the charm of this setup. The door is in. All right. And dying to the surface? 0 currently. Because I would need to have traded. I've only successfully traded once. So 0 are the chances, no name. At least all this stuff's nice and close. Yeah, I'm amazed I'm still getting migrants. I mean, we were at 50 population recently. But they also don't offer you, Oh. I've got yaks here that are fighting over food because they don't have enough food. I was like, why are my yaks fighting? This is concerning. They're not evil monsters. There's just too many of them in one tile, and there's no food. So I'm going to expand this a little bit. I'm also going to get that baby yak calf back up here. And we're going to go back to constructing. Suddenly de facto leaders. This faction has a population of 10,000, so that would be exceptionally unlikely, but not impossible. That would be shocking and weird, but not impossible. So I'm not going to rule it out, but that would be a very unlikely occurrence. In fact, if that happens, I may have to go buy a lottery ticket. Like, the odds of that occurring are very, very low. If I need to set up 10,000 graves, that we would work through a lot of dwarves for that to happen. Dwarf shows up, immediately becomes a zombie. I mean, like, a dwarf gets kinged, and then immediately, like, that dwarf dies and becomes a zombie. And then another dwarf shows up and becomes a zombie, and then another dwarf shows up and becomes a zombie. Potato Godzilla! Godzwilla! I know I call you Godzilla, but your name is Godzwilla. Anyways, Potato Gods, thank you very much for that 8th month. And helping keep the channel funded. Like, I know that your name is Godzwilla and not Godzilla, but I don't know, it reads like Godzilla, so... It was taken? Okay, well. Then I am referring to you by your intended name. Do I play adventure mode these days? I do, but an adventure mode session is like 4 hours, and then I do a fortress, which lasts 3 weeks. I don't find endgame of adventure mode to be particularly easy to communicate to this stream, because it's usually just, why are you beating to death the 85th dude in a row? And it's like, well, because I'm trying to kill this guy. And then I kill the guy, and I'm like, cool. And then I start a fort, and then I play that for a month. And then I do an adventure, and that lasts for... Like, I'll probably do an adventure after this fort, because I would like to adventure to this and Godly Tombs. But I'm not going to do that until after this fort, and then it'll most likely only last for, like, I don't know, 4 hours. So it's like... Chat room, 1 person posted a beer. You guys have failed me. I need more beers. That's 8 months. I need at least 8 beers. Only 1 person posted beers. How dare you? You failed me. But yes, I do play adventure mode. But it's like a 4-hour session in between forts. So if you missed them, don't be too surprised. When there's more to do than like beat the shit out of people in adventure mode, you'll see more frequent adventure mode streams. But because it's like, what can you do? Murder hobo. Okay, cool. It's not very easy to communicate why that's entertaining or interesting to an audience, and when you stream for a living, that's hard. And almost posted a bear instead of a beer. You wouldn't be the first nor the last. Well, I guess I have to help then. All right, so now that I've done that... Uh-oh. We've got one more I gotta fix. Good thing I checked. Do. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm also like realizing that doing this a double layer thing is a bit moot. Doesn't really have any purpose behind it, but that's okay. Need this dwarf to get out of here, and then I need to start pumping. Let's lock this. Get you pumping this. Get you pumping this. And you pumping this. And then there's one final thing I need to do, which is I need to dig down into here. You know, I'm also going to clear out this squad. Because I want to rebuild it now that I have steel. Also bars. Let's do 3 steel picks. And now we wait. Actually, you know what? This may be easier if I just delete this. There we go. So all those picks were still assigned to the squad equipment. Well, I cleanse the overworld with lava. That is not currently the plan. I'm planning to release demons onto the surface to make the overworld worse. I'm not a big fan of Labatt, Bulu, or Molson. Molson just kind of tastes like nothing. I mean, it's okay. It's not very good. It's just cheap beer. All right, we've got Insulina who's going to go dig a channel. So what this is going to do is it's going to make lava appear up here. So lava's going up through here, and then up into here. And here we go, Zers. No, I'm trying to cast a very small area into lava is what I'm trying to do. Or into obsidian, rather. So I just want this to be like, I don't know, 4 deep, maybe? So we'll just let that do its thing for a little bit. And then I'm going to pump water from over here somewhere into this. And then I can have gear assemblies that are sealed inside of obsidian. That is the plan here. For a structure, so that I can have obsidian rollers that are cast into obsidian. That's what I want. That are separated by a floor. Or mechanisms, not rollers. Rollers is the wrong word. But that's what I want. That's why I'm doing this. Is so that I can have gear assemblies that are stuck inside of a wall, basically. So that I can power stuff without letting things through. That is plenty. I'm going to wall this up. And stop you. I'm going to deconstruct this and deconstruct this. And that's why I didn't bother building it out of other materials or elsewhere, is so that I could just very easily, you know, now go here and pump this. I could just build over all this later, so it's fine. Let's just go. Water go there. Let's just go here. So water's going to come from here. 1. So we're going to have the first pump right there. Pumping to right there. Basically. Second pump is going to go here. Actually, no. It'll be easier to do it this way. Second pump is going to go here. Pumping from here. And then over to there. And that'll cast all this. Chat room. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like garbage. I'm trying really hard right now to stream coherently. And I don't feel like I'm doing a very good job. I didn't sleep much last night. I did sleep last night, but not much. I didn't even go to bed that late. But I feel like garbage. I think I might just end. I feel kind of bad and I wasn't planning on streaming tomorrow. But I think what I'm going to do is this. I think I'm going to end the stream now and do a short stream tomorrow. And we'll get a little bit more work done on this fort. Because I've been planning all week to take tomorrow off. But, like, I feel awful. So I'm like, kind of hoping it's gonna, like, just go away. Like, I had one beer last night. I didn't get home super late. I didn't stay up super late. I just don't feel good. So, keep an eye on the Discord, I think, for updates as to if I end up streaming tomorrow. But I think I'm just going to call it. I mean, I can either, like, slowly get grumpy and the quality of the stream is going to go down, or I can just call it. So, I think I'm just going to take the day. YouTube chat, if you want to come raid somebody with us, I'm going to raid somebody over here on Twitch. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you for tuning in today and watching. Sorry for the sudden early-ish end. But thanks to the 94 of you who are tuned in and for these 72 likes and all that jazz. And I might be on tomorrow. Maybe not. We'll see. YouTube chat. Sorry about this, Twitch. But like I said, I'm just not feeling brilliant. It's been a long time since I've only done a 4-hour stream, hey? 4.5 hours. I guess I'm just gonna... My face is gonna vanish for a second, but I'll be right back. The good news about this is I can get started a little bit earlier on editing. But... yeah, I don't know. I've got a Platinum interview that I need to finish and get finished and out and done. But I put more production into those these days, so I can go work on that. Or I could start assembling this. I don't know. We'll see. Entertaining stream, though, today. Fort was fun, you know. We've got the beginnings of a new zombified hero. We've got some more migrants. Not a lot, but some. Fortress is still moving.